Hello, hello, hello. It's Tina from CNC Designs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're streaming in an event today called Stars and Stripes Forever. So I'm on just a minute early just so I can try and pull us up on the screen and do all the things. We are in a 2-day event today. Today is day 2, and this event is full of approximately 30 something crafters, and we are streaming in 3 groups today. We're streaming from actually 4 because we're streaming from CNC Designs, the Crafting Network, the Crafters Hive, and CCC, which is the Crafty Creators Community. So if you're not following any of those groups, please be sure to jump over and give everyone a follow, and also check out all of the creators that have been in this event for the past 2 days. There are 2 more people up after me. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome in. As you come in, if you see the red live button above my head, please stop and say hello. If you don't see the red live button, please say hello in the comments, because that means you're watching me on replay. In either case, I would love to be able to say hello to you all. So I'm just trying to find us here on my computer so that I can see comments better. I think I have located us. And okay, I think I found us. Hello, welcome in everyone. Hello, Michelle Pranger. Hello, Susie Black. Hello, Cruz. How are you? Thank you all for joining me on this Sunday evening. We are in the Stars and Stripes event sponsored by Jennifer McMonagle over at She's Crafty USA. We are streaming from 3 different groups today. Please be sure that you hop over and join those groups. They are the Crafting Network, the Crafty Creators Community, as well as the Crafters Hive. Hello, 2 Chicks Craft. Hi, Jen. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I just realized as I was watching my friends, I am definitely a rebel crafter. I don't have any stripes in my project, but we're gonna make do and we're gonna pull some stripes in through our bow. So we're gonna be working tonight with this cutting board that I have base coated blue. I didn't have the appropriate navy blue paint, so what I did is I combined these 2 together, and I got this awesome color. So I made sure to try to bring them to the table so I can show you, in case you were ever trying to get the perfect blue. If you have these 2 Americana paints, this is Lamp Black and Primary Blue. These 2 together gave me this awesome navy blue for my palette. Hi Jody, how are you? Yeah, I'm definitely a rebel crafter. I don't pay attention. So I'm gonna pull in my stripes from some of my material in my bow. Hello Linda, how are you, my friend? Hello Sophie, thank you for joining 2 Chicks Craft, a creative home. All my friends are here. Thank you guys for popping on. You guys also know that I love texture in my pieces, so I base coated this in this navy blue. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna put down some sense of crackle in the background with my IOD stamp, just because I just love it. I have a couple of white stamp pads here. I haven't been able to find a perfect white stamp pad yet, so I have a couple of them. Hopefully one of them will give us some nice looking crackle in our background. We're just gonna put it around sporadically, not over the whole piece, just in some areas, because we are gonna stencil over it. It doesn't have to be totally clear. You may or may not see it. It's just something that I like to do. And I like to use it around my edges sometime. So that's what our little crackling stamp has done so far. Hello, Elsie. Hello, TNT Backrooms Craft. Laurel's Room. How are you all? Thank you for joining. We're going to be working with some of my stencils from Magnolia. I am a Magnolia stencil design rep. So tonight we're going to be working with the We the People stencil as well as a star stencil. My We the People is a new one, so I am going to have to fuzz a little bit to get some of that tackiness off. Hello, Shauna. How are you? So let me get my fuzz cloth. Hi, Cindy. Let's sit this over here. So here we go. I don't do a lot of Americana crafts. I love the color combination, but in my home, I am definitely more of the beiges, browns with pops of color. Nothing as colorful as this, but I enjoy making them. I just don't use them a lot in my home. TNT Backroom Crafts. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you to you all for joining and coming to see what I come up with tonight. And we're going to be using white chalk paste to put our stencil down. And then we're going to do some stars also in white. So ergo why I told you I forgot my stripes, because I don't have any red stripes, but my bow, I do have some red stripe fabric that I'm going to be using for the bow. Now this board is just wide enough to cover my stencil without missing anything. So I gotta make sure I center it perfectly so I don't cut any of my words off on either side. Hello, Felicia. How are you? Thank you for watching. So we've got our stencil down and we're gonna be using our brilliant white chalk paste. Okay, let's get some chalk paste down here. How was everybody's day today? Did you guys watch any of the other crafters? I have been watching off and on for both days. I do have to go back and watch some, but I have seen many projects that I really enjoy watching the creators create. And I love to watch what other people do, even though, you know, I create myself. It's just fun and watching other people's take on some of the same products that you might use, but just to see how they interpret the use of them is always fascinating to me. How we all have different perceptions and the things that we see when it comes to creating with certain items. So we're gonna just make sure we've got our stencil down, trying to make sure I haven't missed any of my letters. I do want to get a nice crisp lay with this. And if you guys hear some talking in the background, that is my daughter in her room talking to her friends and her grandma. We just came from visiting grandma, so she's probably letting grandma know that we're home. Wow, this is really nice. I'm gonna just spritz my tray so that I can lay my stencil down and some of the paste can begin releasing as we continue. Just want to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Wow, we got a really nice lay. That's the thing that I love about Magnolia stencils. You really can't mess anything up, and they always make you look like this amazing artist. Just absolutely awesome with little work. So this is what we have so far, and you can see we have some of that crackle showing through our words. I'm really liking this so far, and we are not even done. So I'm gonna get some heat on here so that we can continue, because I want to put some stars up top. Thank you. Thank you, Jody. I did have some Americana printables that I had last year. I created this banner for a fireplace, or from, in my case, it was a mini banner. I put it on a wreath, and I started to do something similar to that this year, and doing a journal. I may do something like that with those pieces later on this week. Thank you, Crafting Sweets. Hi, Tina. How are you? There is my friend from Longbriar Cottage, who just made that awesome flower. I have to try that. I have never tried that with the fabric, but thanks for the tutorial, because I will definitely be trying it. Hi, Brandy. How are you? Thank you for joining. So I think we might have a good dry so that we can continue. I don't want anything to move out of place or mush. I love this white and blue together. It just looks amazing. So that's what we have so far, and we're gonna run some stars from the top all the way down to the we, the people words. So I'm gonna sit this way. Oh, I'm glad you caught me too, Tina. So the second stencil we're gonna be using is this stencil, which is called, I can't see the label, guys. It's the Random Stars pattern. This actually came, I believe, in one of our craft club kits. It was last month, but the stencil also is available by itself. And if you haven't, again, like I said, if you haven't caught any of the other creators in the event, this has been a 2-day event with over 30 crafters, each person doing something stars and stripes related. Definitely pop over and get some great ideas for your holiday decor. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's definitely my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is definitely the neutrals, and I love layering textures and just all kinds of things that really don't necessarily require rules or pattern prints in terms of rights and wrongs. As long as they match, I can make it work. Hi, Miss Patterson. Hello. How are you, my friend? I missed you. I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hope you're okay. So now let's see how we're gonna do these stars. I think I wanna go this way. And I wanna try to get as many full stars as possible. So I think I'm gonna go here and bring it all the way up. And hopefully I'll like that. In my head, it looks pretty, but who knows? Hello, Laura, how are you? Thank you for joining us. So again, we're going in with some white. I told you guys, I forgot all about the stripes, but we'll make some stripes. And I am a person who likes to do the front and backs of my projects, so I will be putting some of these stars on the back. Hopefully, if we have enough time, we'll get the front and the back of the piece done. I think we might. And I did bring something else just in case I finished a little earlier. I don't know if I will, but if I do, we have another little quick thing that I think we might be able to complete. So how's everybody's weekend? So, well, it's over now, right? I was gonna say so far. Hello, Cynthia, how are you? Thank you for watching. Okay, so let's see what we have for our stars. Very, very nice. I like that. Do you always use the paste instead of a paint pen stenciling? I do. Although Magnolia does have markers that you can use, I just like the paste. I use the markers, but when I use the markers, it's more for coloring in items or maybe just writing something. I just like the paste. It works easier for me. It's not that difficult, and you cover big spaces. Now I do see, I see a little bit of space blue over there on the sides that to me looks like it needs something there, but that's why we have our crackle stamp, because we can go back in and we can fill up those spaces that we feel there's too much blue. I really want this piece to look nice and full, not too overpowering that you can't read the words, which is why I really stuck to the blue and the white and really chose not to add any red in, because I felt like the red might be a little bit difficult to read on the blue background. You know what? What's your name again? I'm sorry. Longbriar Cottage. Wait, I know your name. I know it. It's escaping me right now. But you and I, we are sisters from the heart for real. Because yes, perfect save. The words count as my stripes. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let me show you what we have, and we're gonna put a little bit more of a dry on it, but I love it so far. I think it's awesome. Hello, Cheryl Ward. How are you, sister dear? I have to call you. We have to chat. I love that. The words count as my stripes. Miss Patterson, you see, don't she sound like me, Miss Patterson? I found my sister twin. Yeah, I see my star cut up a little bit over there, so we're definitely gonna take our crackle stamp and fix that up a little bit so that doesn't look like it's left off on purpose or mistakenly left off. Hello, Stephanie Richard. How are you? Okay. Amy. My brain was frying. I said, I know her name. Amy, forgive me. Charge it to my head, but never my heart, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Shauna. Hi, Christine. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to bring back my crackle stamp. This stamp comes from IOD, by the way, in case I don't know if I told you guys that. It comes in a quadrant. There's 4 different patterns, and this one is my absolute favorite because I love crackle, and I love to do it the regular way. I do it with the glue and the Mod Podge and the heat and all of that. But this right here is like, I just love it because it makes it so easy. Not a lot of work, but you really, really get a big bang for your buck. So I'm just gonna add some more here, and you see I'm not necessarily adding any more ink, but it is doing its thing without me having to worry about re-inking. And let me remember which one of these pads this is, because like I told you guys in the beginning, I've been looking for a white stamp pad for the longest, and this is a Craft Smart pigment white stamp pad. If you need one, this is a good one. So here we are. I love this. This looks so amazing to me. But if you've ever watched me, you also know that I don't like to leave, even though this looks really good, I like to edge my pieces. So I'm going to take my stamp pad and I am going to just go around and add some white on these edges, just so it doesn't look so flat to me. And I just love the effect. I'm not going to try to go too far into my curves because I'm afraid that I'll get too far off, and I just really want to bring out those edges. So you can see now that it's edged, it really, really pops. I love edging my pieces with those stamp pads. This blue is a combination of 2 different types of Americana paint. They are, it's Lamp Black by Americana and the Primary Blue. I mixed the 2 of them to get this navy blue. I couldn't find the perfect navy blue that I wanted, so I mixed those 2, and I am so pleased at the color that I was able to get from those 2. Anytime you have a blue and you mix black, you can come up with a darker navy, but this one just is perfect. Thank you so much, Craftin' Sweets. So I'm just going around my edges, making sure the stamp pad is somewhat dry because I want to make my bow, and I want to try and flip this over because I like finished pieces. I want to have some, I think I'm going to put the stars on the back, and I do have some stripes. Not sure if I'm going to put those on the back. I think I might just do all stars, or maybe stars to a point and then the stripes just down here in the bottom. But it's all going to still be blue and white, y'all. Our red stripes are going to come in. Oh, I will definitely put a link to, or the name of this stamp, Amy, so that you can see which one it is from IOD. It's definitely one that's been around for a long time, and I'm so pleased with it. I use it so much. I just love it. So there we have another look-see at our front of our piece. I love all of this. This has come out much better than I actually anticipated or had in my head. So again, like I said, I like front and back, so I am going to try and bring some of those stars over to the back of the piece. So let me get my fuzz cloth out, and I'm gonna turn this to my gray side so I can try and clean off some of this paste so we can use this stencil again on the back. I've seen some creators take the stencil and they will use it, even with a little bit of paste on it, they'll stick it back down again and get a second pull, and that does work. I just like making sure that I use a clean stencil because I just feel like I get a better pull when I have a clean stencil that doesn't have any paste on it. But you can take a stencil that you've used that's gotten some paste and just go from one side to the other, and it will work as well. Just set that over here. Thank you so much, Tina. Anna, do you have that stamp as well? I love it. I love IOD stamps. I have a bit of an obsession with them, honestly. Upscale Crafts by Sal. How are you? Hello, Raven. How are you? Thank you all for joining me. Like I said, this is the Stars and Stripes event sponsored by Jennifer McMonagle over at She's Crafty USA. She's also the head of the Crafting Network, where we have it's a ton of hosts now who are part of the Crafting Network, and you can go live there. So if you're a creator and you're looking for a place to go where you can do lives and grow your page, you definitely want to join the Crafting Network. Today we're in this event, we are streaming out of 3 different groups. We are streaming from the Crafting Network, the Crafty Creators Community, and the Crafters Hive. You have an IOD problem. So do I. So do I. The molds and the stamps. And I'm sad to say that I don't use my molds as much as I should, but I am going to try and make good on that for the coming Christmas season this year. So we're going to turn this back over, and I am going to, I'm sure you guys already know, I'm going to add some crackle collection. Yeah, so do I. I just love it. You can do so much with them. What I haven't gotten into is the transfers yet. I don't know if I see people using them, and I'm like, oh, I should get some of those, but I just feel like that would be a bit of an expense for me, and I'm not sure if I would really get my money's worth out of it. So I don't know if I'll be using that in their collections. So once again, we're going to take our stencil, and I am going to set it up here in the handle, and I'm going to bring these stars down as much as I can. I do think I probably am going to add some stripes, so I will bring this down possibly to, let me just, do I have a pencil here? I have a pen. I can try and see if this pen will work, but I don't know. I'm going to try to bring it to about there. Okay, so here we go with our, you can't take that. I'm sure I would. I'm sure I would, because I am definitely one of those, you know how you have some people who are like tech people that, you know, every time a new thing comes out tech-wise, they have to buy it. That's me with crafting, you know. It's like, I want to try everything, and sometimes I go a little overboard in my spending. But this year I have been really good, because I've been trying to craft my stash, and I think I might have gotten some ribbon. I did buy some sari silk this year because I hadn't had any, and I've been wanting some, and I found some on Amazon, but I've been trying not to buy much of anything because I have so much already. Although I've been dying to go to Dollar Tree, because that new frame that came out, that's a mirror. I really would like to get my hands on one of those, but I got enough stuff in here to craft with. I really don't need it. So, you know, sometimes I have to have those talks with myself. My children definitely they love the fact that I'm not shopping anymore, because they're like, okay, Mom, you know, how much craft stuff do you need? Got a little boo-boo here. I don't know what that is, but I'll figure that out. I think I pulled some of my stencil up. That's what I think I just did. I'm gonna lay this back down, and that's why you don't do that, because you wind up with paste in places that you don't want it. So let's see if I can get this up without causing too much of a fuss here. That's why I don't like to use stencils that already have paste on it, because you run the risk of doing what I just did, which is to get paste in places that you don't necessarily want it. And I just finished telling you guys why I didn't like doing that, right? Sometimes I need to listen to myself. So let's see if I can get some of this off, because apparently we have a lot. And I don't want stars in places where I'm trying to create some stripes. Oh, it is very easy to overspend. I have tons and tons of stuff. I used to scrapbook, and I have so much scrap paper in my house, which is one of the reasons why I've definitely gotten into making those junk journals, because I have so much scrap paper that is like, what am I going to do with it now? I don't scrapbook anymore the way I used to when my kids were younger. And when I tell you I have tons of paper, I have given some away. My daughter is a teacher, thank God now, so a lot of stuff I give to her and tell her to take it to work, do something with the kids. Because it's just, I will never be able to use all of the scrapbook paper that I have. And years ago, in my opinion, scrapbook papers, they had so many more beautiful papers than I see now. A lot of papers now, they just don't have those, you know, the good old days of K and Company. If you ever were a scrapbooker, you know who I mean. K and Company papers were some of my favorite papers. Oh, they used to just make such awesome products. I don't see products that look like that anymore. So that's one thing that I don't buy, is scrapbook paper. Yeah, I got a boatload of paper. It's ridiculous how much scrap paper I have. Okay, so I'm just trying to dry this off a little bit. Okay, let's see now what we can do here. I said I did not want this to come down too far, so I got to remember that. And there is my line. I'm just gonna write right here on my stencil. That shouldn't hurt. And we're gonna bring some stars down. Gotta be careful. I'm one of those that, you know, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, so I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing, guys. I did bring it down a little bit too far there, but I don't think that will be too bad. That's good enough for Tina. Hello, Terrence. How are you? Hello, Kelly. How are you? Cheryl Michi, how are you? Thank you all for watching and joining me tonight. We are in an event. It has been going on for 2 days. It is the Stars and Stripes event. There are over 30 creators in this event, and we each are creating a project that has to do with stars and stripes. So this is what we have so far on the back, ladies and gentlemen. And I am going to try and get our stripes down, and then we can dry all at once. I don't know what happened there. Right in there, it looks like I got a little mishap, but I'll figure something out there. Okay. So let's put this down here. Are they gonna go all the way over? You know what? They're not. And if I do it just that way, let's see, and then maybe I can bring some crackle on those edges, and it will look like we've done that on purpose, because these stripes are not going to go all the way across the board. Hello, Belinda. How are you? Hi, Tish. Okay, guys, so we are going to act like we purposely did this, like we knew our stripes weren't going all the way across, and we had a game plan. Hi Tammy, how are you? So we have used 3 of our stencils so far tonight, and I just love what we have working here, along with our, oh my goodness, steaks. Sounds good. So because our stripes are not going all the way over, we're going to take our crackle stamp, we're gonna bring some in, and we're gonna act like we knew that, and this was the plan. Ms. Patterson, where are you? I know you laughing at me. Okay, so let's get some heat on here. We have a little places where our stencil didn't necessarily come all the way, but it looks distressed, and if you know me, that's definitely what I like. So this looks really, really good, but you know it is just because it's the back of our project, we're gonna edge this just like we did our front. I don't like pieces that are not edged because they just look flat to me. When you edge your projects, it brings dimension into your piece, and it just gives it a whole new life, in my opinion. And I'm gonna show you what I mean as soon as we finish, because I can show you the front that is edged compared to this back that is not. And although my sides are very, very thin and shallow, I'm gonna take that stamp to the sides as well, because I want you to be able to have some eye candy everywhere you look when you look at this piece. So this is our front, and our front is edged with the white ink. Now I'm going to show you why I do that, because this is our back, and it is not edged. It is nice. I just don't like it. I prefer this. This pops. This just says hi. This says hello. So that's why I like to edge my pieces. I like the hello. So we're gonna put some of our, we're gonna take our stamp and we're just gonna go on the edge. I don't wanna bring it onto the piece. I just wanna go around the edge. Sometimes I do wanna bring it up onto the piece, but this time I don't. And that little edge on the bottom looks like it finishes that those stripes. Kim said hello. Exactly, that's what I look for. I like the hello, not the hi. I'm not the hi kind of girl. I'm like hello in your face. So that's our front, that's our back, and they both are popping. I love it. So now we're gonna sit that over to the side. I'm gonna get these out of the way because I'm getting ink everywhere on my hands. And we're going to make a bow for this piece because I did not include a stitch of red, but I do have some red striped fabric here. I got some red, white, and blue striped fabric. So we're gonna make us a bow. I think I'm gonna make this a little kind of crosshatch, shabby type bow. And I think I'm going to probably add more red fabric than anything else. Thank you, Luna. Because I didn't include red in my paints. So let's get us a piece of this, because this is what we're going to tie off with, because it just ties into the color scheme nicely. And like I said, I think I want to do one of those kind of crosshatch bows. I don't know how long I want my fabric strips, but you know what? I think I'm gonna do half because I don't know if this is gonna be too short. When I put it on, maybe not. Let me see. Because we're just gonna be going crisscross pretty much. Or if I went this way, then I can, you know what, I'm gonna do the long way just so that I can cut off what I don't want. This is definitely longer than that, so I don't think I made it that long. It's gonna be long, but we can cut off what we don't want. I'd rather it be too long than to be too short because then I can't add. This piece is kind of thick. And you know what? I am gonna have this one. I'm just throwing stuff in here. As long as it's red, white, and blue, it works. I'm not really going crazy about measuring. I told you guys I'm a rebel crafter. I don't measure. I should probably, but I don't. And I'm not gonna waste any pieces of this fabric. I probably will be putting it all in here. I want it to be kind of fluffy because it is going to be going on the neck of our piece. Probably I could have halved it, but I don't know. I think I wanted a little bit longer than that, so I probably should have. Probably about this long is where I'm gonna wind up finishing this. It is stringy, but that I love to rip the fabric rather than cut the fabric. I like the effect of the ripped fabric on the edges as opposed to the cut fabric. Cut fabric doesn't give that same effect for me. You love the bold contrast? Thank you. I could have done an actual bow, but I don't know. For some reason, something was telling me to do this more of a shabby kind of thing. So, and like I said, because I don't have any red, I am adding quite a bit of red in this bow for that reason. This piece is definitely too big. Let's see if we can cut this or rip this. So I start by cutting and then I just tear. And it doesn't matter if they're not the same size because you're going to trim anyway. So don't think that all of your ribbon pieces have to be the same size. And you see we're just dumping in. I probably should have used my bigger bow dabber because I am making this rather big. I think I want to add another piece of that lace. Is that going to be enough? If I don't like it, then you know what? It's ribbon and we can always take it apart and start over again. That's the thing I love about these bow dabbers. You can just start over again. If you don't like what you have, you can take it apart, put it back in the bow dabber and start again. So this is gonna have some longer tails, which I do like. I'm not opposed to. until we see it around this piece, right? Because that's where it's going to matter. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. That's going to cover too much. I'm going to have to trim that some more. So that's another reason why we leave it long, because it's much easier to trim than it is to add. So this is what we're working with so far. Put it up here, and then we won't have to trim as much. I don't like that. I'm not liking the way that is looking. So you know what, we're gonna, I don't know why I can't make a bow tonight, guys, but one sec. Let's try this again with the bigger one, and let's see what we get if we do it with our loops. I wasn't planning on a looped bow, but I don't like the way my strips are looking, so I am going to, I'm not going to waste this fabric that we just cut. I'm going to bring those in and just stick them in between my loops, because I don't like to waste anything. And we do have enough red fabric here that I'm going to make sure we still have plenty of red in there. We got some time, so we're good on time. So you guys get to see my brain in process when it's working and when it's not working. Sometimes it works, sometimes you gotta pivot and go to something else. I did not like that. That did not come out the way I pictured it in my mind. I think those messy bows that way really have to be short. Because if they're long, for me, I don't like the way it looks. I think they have to be short for me. And what I didn't do, and y'all didn't tell me, was, oh yes I did. Did I add this in here, y'all? I don't know if I did or I didn't, and I can't find my other piece. I think I might have put it in the wrong way, but we'll get to that. And like I said, for me, I like the strings. I like all of that because it adds to that kind of just distressed kind of feel, like, you know, especially because this is Americana piece. It's just like, you know, this is hard work, you know, and this shows that, in my opinion. And I'm just loving the way this is coming out. Some more red. And because this fabric is two-sided, one side is a little bit darker than the other, so you can be careful in looking at how you flip your fabric. I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm having a lighter red stripe show on some sides, and then on other ones I have the darker red stripe show. And what do I mean by that is, I'll show you in a second. One side is lighter than the other. One is the stripes are much more prominent. So I'm just doing kind of like a light and a dark, you know, flipping it back and forth. It doesn't really matter. You can have them all facing the same, you know, side. That's your personal preference. these types of fabrics, like the blue one and the white ones, we don't have to worry about changing because it pretty much is the same on both sides. And like I said, I wanted this bow to be pretty chunky and thick, so that's what I'm aiming for, along with trying to use some of this fabric that I cut for that messy bow that I didn't like. I do have another red piece. Let's throw that in there. You're putting everything in here but the kitchen sink. Let's see now what we have. Now let's put this down on the table, and I am going to try and define my middle. I like to press down the middle once I've taken a bow off the bow dabber, because the fabrics come up this way and I like them all to be flat onto each other and define center. You never know what I might want to put in the middle of that bow. So I definitely spend my time in trying to define my center. And look at this. I don't know what happened here, that this one just decided it did not want to be a part of the party. Okay. I like this bow much better than the previous, even with all of my strings. I think that that adds character to the bow. I'm really pleased with how this looks. I see one piece here. Let me get that tail to lay down, because remember, some of them we put just the strips across, so we've got to get them to act as tails. And how you do that is you just pull them down and kind of make them behave. I see one of my loops is a little bit longer than the other. Here we go. I like this. So what do you guys think? This is much better than our previous. So let me get my glue gun on. Let's look at what else we can add in here. I have some pip berries here that I think will look very nice with this. So I'm gonna just, it's a few of them, not many. So I'm gonna bring them around the center. Hello, Cindy, how are you? Miss Patterson, you like it? And I think that is going to look much better than our first one. I am gonna make sure that when I put this on, it is up enough and out of the way enough to not impede on that pretty stencil that we have from Magnolia. So I'm gonna bring it up a little bit more onto the handle. I wanna make sure my tails are acting like they're supposed to. Yeah. Okay. I do have some wood stars that we could paint. I even have a little heart. I'm gonna look at the back because, you know, as I said earlier, I like to pay just as much attention to my front as I do my back. I may just do a pop of red and put a red star down here in the corner just because I don't have any red on the front. Yeah, I love it too, Anna. Let's see, do we have this? Is it heated up enough so that we can put our bow on? Let me see where I want this. do have some rusty bells. I love to use those kind of rusty things in my projects, but I think I'm gonna stay away from it for this one. I think I like this one without any of the rusty bells and things like that. Thank you, Cindy. So that's what we have here. What do you guys think? I love it. And like I said, because, thank you so much, Crafting Sweets, because I did not, what did I just do with my star, guys, that I just showed you guys, that cute, cute star. Do you guys, anybody see what I did with that? We got 5 minutes. If I can find my star, we can do something. Oh my goodness, here it goes right here. As my grandmother used to say, if it was a snake, it would have plucked it. So I'm gonna take my paste because it's on the table. So I'm gonna take a little bit of it out of my top and I'm gonna dab with my dauber onto my star, because when you dab like this, it gives you a little bit of texture. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the camera, but it's not flat. That paint is not flat, and I love texture. So, and I did see a little space in the corner where we missed. So it's not a stripe, but I'm bringing a little bit more red into the piece. Thank you, Christine. Wow, look, if everybody's telling me pick up my scissors, hello, if I had just looked at you guys, right, I would have known that. I tell you, now you're gonna look, see at my brain when it's working and when it's not working. These two look a little bit too long. Just gonna cut a little bit off there. Sometimes I'm not all there, guys. In a good way, most of the time. Most of the time it's in a good way. I like this a lot. I feel like I need something else in the middle of that bowl. I don't know what that is yet, but we'll figure it out. But here we are. This is what we have done in the Stars and Stripes event. And there are 2 more people in this event behind me. I can't remember the next person behind me. Does anybody know that name? Please help me out. If not, I'm going to find it in a second. Here's the back of it. So this piece definitely turned out to be a lot better than I actually had envisioned in my mind. It has been so much fun being in this particular event. And the next person behind me is Whimsy Reef Design. So please refresh your page if you are on the Crafting Network, CCC, or the Crafters Hive. Stay where you are, just refresh your page and check out Whimsy Reef Design after me. If you are on your own personal page, go to one of those pages, the Crafters Network, Crafty Creators Community, or the Crafters Hives, and see the other 2 creators that are up behind me. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope you loved the creation that we've done. I will leave some links to the products that I used in case anyone is interested. In the meantime, you all have a great rest of your evening. If you are not following CNC Designs, please follow us. Please give us a like and a follow. We go live 2 times a week. We will be live again on tomorrow night, as well as Fridays. We do late night things at 10 o'clock. So come and hang out with us and have some fun. Thank you, guys. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.